What's up, everybody? I'm coming here actually to talk about a couple of situations. I feel the need to come here and talk about them because I don't want anybody to mess them up. So I thought I would come up here and straighten them out. I'm talking about UFC 310. As you all know by now, Balal dropped out of the fight due to a bone infection in his foot, and the UFC have been looking for a new main event. And also, I want to talk about who should be next in line for Dricus du Plessis. Now, first UFC 310. When the news broke out, the first name that popped into my head was Ian Gary. Obviously, the man has his fair troubles in the news and media with girlfriend and blah, 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 and all this stuff. But we can say it seems to me that all this is behind him right now. So he's on a different path. He's doing good. He looks confident. And I think that would have been a great main event replacement for UFC 310. Those two guys could face each other for the interim title. I know a lot of people are annoyed by those interim titles. I don't. People just get mad at Dana White for putting them together. At the end of the day, I think, if anything, it helps fighters because this is an unexpected moment where someone who might never get a title shot may have an opportunity at winning a championship. Because guess what? If you win the interim title, they call you champions. All those guys who at one point or another won an interim title, even if they never won the real title, they will still call today, they still call them, and the MMA community, they still considered past champions. So I think it helps the fighters if anything else. And also, if you weren't fighting for the interim title, you would probably be fighting for the number one contendership. And it doesn't make any difference. Either way, you would be facing the champion when the champion gets healthy. And also, the reason the UFC put those interim titles together is because they don't want a boring, or they don't want the event to sound flat. Because if you have UFC 310 and your main event is just a fight, but there is no reward, there is no title attached to it, then it doesn't have the same pop, for none of us. So I think that's why they put them together, and it makes sense. And to me, it's a win for everyone. But now we know Ian Gary is facing Joaquin Buckley for the last UFC event in December 14th, somewhere in Florida. I think it's Tampa. I can't remember. So we know he's not an option. And now we start looking at people like Kamaru Usman, past champions, very dominant champion, very skilled, big name to build a card around. I think him against Shavkat would be great. And his last fight out was against Hamzat Chimaev, who just won spectacularly against none other than Robert Whittaker. Now, I mean, I still believe if that fight went the way we all thought it would have gone, I still have doubt that Hamzat could have beat Whittaker, but that's a non-issue right now. What I'm trying to say is when Kamaru Usman fought him on 2-week notice, it was a very competitive fight, very, very competitive. So competitive that many people thought Kamaru Usman won the fight. So I'm trying to say that Kamaru Usman is not some washed up champions, some guy past his prime, unable to put a good competitive fight anymore. So I think that would be a great fight to replace the main event for UFC 310. The other name I haven't heard too many people mention is Leon Edwards. He was just a champion, and the timeline to me would fit very nicely. I'm not speaking for Leon Edwards or his team, but I would think, because that's the same. The last time he fought Bilal Muhammad, who was going to fight Shavkat for the title. So it seems to me it could be, unless he's injured or something, that could be that to me would be a very viable replacement. So if I were to pick, Leon Edwards would be my number one pick, and then Kamaru Usman would be my second pick. We could even stretch it to someone like MVP, as thinking of people that are current right now available. Someone like MVP. Hey, Khalil One-Tree got his title shot. He was number 8, so anything is possible. And I think any of those guys would be a big name to build a main event around. I believe Jack Maddalena, I think he's injured. I haven't heard much about him. But anyway, so those would be the guys that I think should be the replacements for UFC 310 main event as an interim title shot. Now that brings us to who is next for the DP. I know with Khamzat Chimaev's spectacular win against Robert Whittaker, many people quickly believe that he should be next in line for the title, but I say not so fast. I think Strickland deserves the title. Number one, Dana White has mentioned it at least a couple of times. Number two, Sean Strickland had been out there promoting himself as next in line for the title. Number three, the fight when he fought the DP, the fight was very close, so close to where many people believed Sean Strickland won the fight. And according to Sean Strickland, the only reason he lost was because he was over in Canada fighting woke. So the man has been out there among a handful of people fighting woke, and he was in no other country than Canada, kind of a non-woke country, and he was fighting none other than the leader of the woke, the prime minister of the country, Justin Trudeau. So he believed that's the reason he lost the fight. Now, we are not saying that Justin Trudeau went out of his way to pay judges and do any of this stuff, or demanded that the judges awarded the fight to DDP. But I would say don't underestimate the fear that powerful politicians can strike in people's hearts. Now, if you are in Canada, you're deep in Canada, you are a judge, your job is to fight those two guys. One of them, super controversial, just trashed the prime minister of the country. The other, not so political, just speak about a fight, non-controversial guy, right? And now you judging those rounds, round by round, you're judging, and everyone comes to you and you're like, oh, but who do I give these rounds to? The rounds are close. Who do I give it to? And you think, oh, this guy just trashed the prime minister. I'm here in Canada, and even not here. But as I say, people tend to be afraid of powerful politicians. So you just trash Justin Trudeau, and he didn't trash Justin Trudeau. And if it's a close round, even if I give it to him, nobody would complain because it could go either way. So I can see how this might influence a judge. I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm just saying that's a possibility. But either way, I think Sean Strickland deserves the title fight. So I would say Dana White, UFC brass, for the safety of Sean Strickland and for the safety of everyone else involved and for the entire MMA community, give the man the title shot. He deserves it, okay? And I think Sean Strickland is a big fight for anybody. You put him with the DP, that's going to be a huge fight based on their previous fight. I mean, Sean Strickland, people love Sean Strickland, right? And then if he wins the fight, could you imagine a fight between Sean Strickland and Khamzat Chimaev, former training partners? Now they've been trashing each other on social media. And then, or either DDP won, DDP against Chimaev. To me, either way the UFC goes, it's a win. There is no option. There is no, all those great options for the UFC. And because of that, why piss off Sean Strickland? Just give the man the title shot, and then Khamzat Chimaev is next. And I would also think the UFC would be considering couple of things about Khamzat Chimaev, because you want your champion to be dependable, somebody who can be somewhere where you need them to be. They can fight anywhere, anytime, as they usually say. And one prime example is someone like Alex Pereira. I'm not saying that every fighter can be an Alex Pereira, but he's a prime example of a guy. You have a problem, call Alex Pereira. Another problem, call Alex Pereira. And the guy is just saving cards after cards. The man is just out there doing extraordinary things. So Hamza Chimaev, we know there have been rumors about whether he can travel freely to all countries, to the U.S., Canada, and other Western countries, and also his health. It can be a concern. I'm not saying anything bad about it. Obviously, different people, we battle different health issues, not his problems, but the UFC as a business, I would imagine they want a champion who can be dependable, a champion they can not only fight in Abu Dhabi, but they can fight in Canada, in the US, in Australia, in England, wherever they want them to fight, and whenever they need them to fight. So I would think those are all would be questions that they would be asking, especially when you have someone like Sean Strickland. Yes, he's a controversial guy, but controversial guy that a lot of people love. And so I think he should get the next title fight. Anyways, so those are my thoughts, and I would like for you guys to share your thoughts, your comments. So go to the comment section, let me know what you think, and also subscribe to my channel and share this video.